Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody this morning? My little sidekick today, always. Huh? Always. Wow, we are on Friday Eve. And I feel like I'm still trying to wake up and it's already 8:30 here. It's crazy. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Rosemary. Hope you guys are having a great start to your morning already. Here we are, another Dez's Daily Dose. And gosh, we're on episode 19 already. Can't believe that. These are actually been really fun to do. I hope you guys are enjoying these. Like I said, if you love them, share them with your friends. And if you haven't caught all the episodes, you can find them all on my YouTube channel. Good morning, Beth, or I should say aloha, Beth, who's from Hawaii. I wish I was living in Hawaii. It'd be so beautiful to live on a tropical island, but I'm more of I guess you would say more like valleys. I'm not city. I don't like island. I like country. That's it. I like country. That's my dream. Have a home in the country. Really would like to do actually a bed and breakfast. So, as you guys are tuning in, say hi. Tell me what your plans are for this weekend. Good morning, Raylene. I know, Beth, I totally need to come visit. I have never, ever been to Hawaii or any of those islands. I'm so sad. So sad. It really is just a tragedy. But I've been blessed to go other places, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I just want to share a piece of me. So today we're going to talk about just a little story and things like that I have gone through in my past. If you watched my daily doses before, you probably heard me talk about it on a couple of them, about my mom passing away when I was 16. Well, that was just the first of the tragedies that started to strike my life. And, so my mom passed away when I was 16. Right after that, I fell in love and ended up getting married to this guy who's actually the dad of both of my older boys. And wow, I think I just had my oldest son, and it was maybe he was probably 2. I got pregnant again. Good morning, Brittany. Got pregnant again and went for my 5-month checkup. And, where they do the ultrasound, is usually where you're in the midst of everything, you're showing, you're big. And I remember I had just had my oldest son's birthday party. And right after that, went to the doctor, had my normal checkup. Good morning, Courtney. And they did the ultrasound. They're like, okay, we want you to come back in another month for another ultrasound. Doctor wants you to come back another month. Didn't tell me anything. Just come back in another month for an ultrasound. Didn't even say anything looked concerning. And so we didn't think anything of it. Went back a month later, got an ultrasound again, and they just said, okay, the doctor wants to see you upstairs. So my husband and I go upstairs and wait for the doctor, finally meet with him, and he says, so there's something wrong with your baby. And can you only imagine how that just touches and wrenches your heart and your soul? And not really knowing anything, and just thinking well, we saw a month ago that there was an issue, and we just wanted to make sure, so we basically let you go by a whole nother month to find out what the real problem is. And so they say, this is exactly what we thought it was. And so they told me that the baby has a kink in its neck, in its spinal cord. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Anna Marie. Good morning, Destiny. Baby has a kink in its spinal cord in its neck, and it's not allowing the spinal fluid to pass from brain to belly. So what that means is all the fluid is staying in the abdomen. So they even showed me on the ultrasound picture, the abdomen was way larger than the baby's head. And so what happens with that is like there's so much fluid in there that the baby's lungs are not going to develop. So they say this is what we suggest. Since the baby's lungs are not going to develop, you can either wait until the baby dies inside of you, and it will be so much harder to give birth because the baby is going to be more larger. Hey, shh, Diesel, shh, Diesel, shh. Or we can induce you, and we suggest inducing you, induce you in the next couple days. Like, they're like, you need to make this decision in the next couple days. And my husband and I are just like, you know, what do we do? I was like 20 years old, okay? 20 years old, already had a son at home. And so I'm just thinking, oh my God, like, wow, what are we going to do? So we really thought about it, and we talked to our families about it, and we obviously decided to go with being induced. And so 3 days later, was in the hospital, got induced. It was a very weird, strange experience that I don't wish upon anybody. But it took a long time for me to actually go into labor. And so the day before, so I went in the day before the baby was actually born. So I went in the day before, was getting induced, still waited, couldn't sleep at night. So it was really late at night. So they gave me like a sleeping medication to help me just like sleep and relax. Man, that shit was strong. Excuse my mouth, but it was so strong. I remember the next morning, barely waking up, finally I'm like dilating, and literally like in this daze of like barely can keep my eyes open, which is not a way to even remember this time that I'm going to have to think about for the rest of my life. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Corey. Good morning, Jen. And so they allowed all my family to be in the room. Normally when you go into labor, they only allow like a couple people in there, but because of the type of circumstances that it was, I mean, they even have like a special way. I had my baby at Kaiser. They had a special way of putting almost like a sign on the outside of the door so that the whole staff knows that like this baby's not going to make it in the labor and delivery room. So in the whole labor and delivery section. So there was like just a leaf on the outside of my door, like just on the front door. You guys, this is 20 years ago, almost 20 years. Can you believe that? 20 years. 'Cause I'm going to be 40 in a couple months. And so I pushed out this baby with my whole family right there, and still in a dazed and confused. And I have a little picture here, and sometimes I share it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know the light's crazy, but you can see right there that little belly, how huge it is, just filled with spinal fluid, not letting her lungs develop. So this is my angel baby that's in heaven, my daughter. And so I think I just was never meant to ever have any girls in my life, because if you know, I have 4 boys here with me, and this is my daughter. And wow, she would have been 20 years old at the end of September this year. It's crazy to think that. But just being in such a daze and just holding her, and you know, I had already experienced that loss of my mom, and it was something that, you know, I've learned to accept death, and I know that it's a part of life. So the way that I handle death is a little bit more reassuring to me, because I know that there's a higher power and there's something so much greater than here on earth. But it helps me cope with like the death and loss that I've had in my life. And this was number 2 out of the 3 that I have experienced in a really short time period in my life. And one of these days I'll tell you about the next one. But yeah, so this is my daughter, and so we actually named her Angel, since she was born to be an angel. And her middle name is Donna, which is after my mom. Good morning, Sharon. And because my mom's in heaven. And so I always say, like, because my mom always wanted to have grandbabies. So I feel like I had this baby specifically for my mother to be in heaven. So, excuse me. Good morning, Carrie. So this is another reason why I do these things, is because you don't know what people have gone through. You don't know the experiences that they've gone through in their life. And people are so easy to judge people on social media, not knowing their history, not knowing the things that they feel inside. That's why I continue to do these things, is because there's so many people that have stories just like mine, and a bunch of people are a-holes out there, and it's ridiculous. I know Sharon, I miss her too. Sharon is on here, and she was actually one of my mom's best friends. I love you too. I know. So just having to go through that experience and everything was just not something that I could ever wish upon anybody. Shh. And now I get my other little dog, which are boys as well. So I'm literally the only girl in my house. So if I have 4 boy kids, a husband, and 2 boy dogs, I'm so outnumbered, you guys. So that is my little angel baby. That is my little girl that I will just carry, hold to my heart every step of the way. And, don't judge people by what you see on social media, on what you see when they're just walking around, because you don't know the pain and the hurt and inside or anything that they have. All those experiences have, I truly believe, made me the person that I am today. And this is why I love relationships. This is why I love people. This is why I try to pour my heart and soul into people, is because I don't know all the things that everybody has gone through. And that's their own story to tell, and they can decide whether or not they want to share it. I don't talk about this stuff very often, because it's just something that's, one, I live a different life now, and 2, that's just something that I keep personal in myself. And we all deal with things a little bit differently. It doesn't mean that we're bad people. It doesn't mean that we don't miss them. It doesn't mean that we aren't grieving. It doesn't mean that we just all deal differently. So that's my story, and thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and we'll catch another Dez's Daily Dose tomorrow. Not sure what my topic's going to be yet. I usually kind of think about these things early in the morning before I get started. So if there's anything that you particularly want to talk about on here, I would love for you guys to drop that in the comments. And like I said before, let's spread the word to as many people as possible and get it out there. Because what I want to do is I want to drive hope to people. And, my next step here, hopefully I can get it done this year, is to write a book about my life that's going to bring hope and happiness back to a lot of women. So you guys are amazing. I hope you have the most greatest day ever. And I will see you tomorrow morning on another Dez's Daily Dose, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. All right, you guys, have a good day. Bye.